Have you ever wondered if a king can truly be just while sacrificing everything for their kingdom? Artoria Pendragon, the legendary king of knights, a figure we all know as a symbol of justice and nobility. But could it be that behind her serene expression lies a story more complex than we ever imagined? Today we dive into the depths of one of the most fascinating characters in Fate Stay Night. A journey that goes far beyond the golden surface of Excalibur. Imagine this. A young girl, still a child, accepts the burden of a crown that no one else could bear. She gives up her humanity to become the perfect king her people needed. It sounds noble, doesn't it? But at what cost? History shows us that every decision Artoria made was meticulously calculated for the greater good of the kingdom. Villages were sacrificed to save cities. Battles were fought to prevent wars. And amid all of this, one question echoed. How much is one life worth compared to the salvation of thousands? What's interesting is that Artoria never hesitated. Every tough choice, every necessary sacrifice, she made them with the unwavering certainty of someone following an absolute moral code. But this same certainty that made her an admirable leader also distanced her from those she was meant to protect. You see, while other kings ruled with passion and imperfection, Artoria became something beyond human. A machine of justice, unable to understand the desires and weaknesses of her own people. And perhaps this is the true moral dilemma of her existence. As we progress through the story of Fate Stay Night, we discover that her quest for the Holy Grail wasn't driven by ambition or power. It was a desperate desire to correct what she saw as her greatest failure, not being human enough for her people. But can a king be truly just while remaining entirely human? Or does the weight of the crown demand this detachment? Artoria's moral compass always points to the north of duty, but sometimes the straightest path isn't necessarily the fairest. Think about the pivotal moments in her story, when she wielded Excalibur against her own knights in the name of order, when she sacrificed entire villages to halt the advance of a greater evil, when she chose the kingdom over even her own child, Mordred. Each of these decisions was technically correct from a utilitarian perspective. The greater good always prevailed. But at what cost to her own humanity? To her ability to connect with those she was meant to lead? And this brings us to the heart of the matter. Artoria's true moral conflict isn't in her decisions, but in the very nature of her existence as a king. An existence that forced her to transcend her humanity in pursuit of an unattainable ideal of perfection. At the end of her journey, perhaps the greatest irony is that her pursuit of perfect justice was exactly what prevented her from being the kind of leader her people truly needed. Not a distant symbol of perfection, but someone who could genuinely understand their fears, hopes, and flaws. So, after all this reflection, one question remains. Is true heroism about being morally perfect, or about embracing our imperfections and still fighting for what's right? And what about you? What would you choose if you had to decide between being a perfect ruler or a truly human leader?